Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth week of action here in the Montreal Overwatch League. We are coming back off of the LAN ETS. What a big tournament, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But first of all, it is I, the Movie Bear, and today I am joined by a newcomer to the English cast, the man himself, El Presidente, Gabriel Boisvert.
It is I.
Cujipo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Filling out for Demi today because he probably had a date, I guess.
I think he's off to some kind of charity event, doing the work that needs to be done for the community or something like that. I'm giving him high praise because I don't actually know what he's doing. He might have a date, but I if I remember correctly, he told us about an event he was attending. So he's not going to be here today. He's not going to be here this week because obviously he's not going to be here for tomorrow's cast in French. But I think he's got one tough run because he's going to have to follow up the president next week. And that is no small task, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you that immediately. How are you doing, though?
I am doing pretty good.
You're doing pretty good.
It's been a good week. I'm super hyped, super pumped after LAN ETS. Our teams, I say our teams, but the teams in the league did pretty well in the tournament. Most of them went to the finals, or at least the playoffs. And then, so yeah, I'm just really psyched to see them play again.
And just before we go on to presenting our matches for today, we just have to say the Grizzlies finished second at the LAN ETS, so great performance for them. They were taken down by, I don't remember exactly the name of the team, and I do remember it. I don't know if I want to say the name of the team because it's a bad meme and you should all forget about it pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely. They were the Ugandan tryhards.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you said it. Okay. You had to say it.
I had to. I mean, they did win and they did have a name. So
yeah, a team formed in part by some of the ex-players from past teams here in the Montreal Overwatch League, including Rudy. And I believe Filthy Casual.
Filthy Casual, exactly.
Yeah, past member of the University of Montreal team, which we all miss. Sadly, they do not play in the Montreal Overwatch League anymore, but we remember them. We remember them very well.
Oh, yeah, they are in our hearts forever.
We, however, are going to present the teams that are going to play this week because that's very important. This week, for our matches on Wednesday, we have first game of the day. And we're going to get to in a couple of minutes. Team Status Dusk versus Esports ETS. They're going to face off. Esports has been doing quite well this season. Has been on the up and down a tiny bit. A very similar season to what Concordia is experiencing right now. Two of our oldest teams in the league. So it's quite comforting to see that they're struggling in a way because that means that we have a lot of talent coming from newer teams. And one of those newer teams is Team Status Dust. They have not had the success they have desired right up to this point. But our second game of the day is going to be Team Concordia versus Mirage Esports. And now, Mirage has had a couple of changes to their lineups following LAN ETS, and I believe it will signify the return of a past member of the Montreal Overwatch League, the American Minish.
Yeah, exactly. He will be playing for Mirage, along with pretty much the same lineup as they used to play, with the one difference that Pookie will be playing instead of Wiz for tonight.
Okay.
But they are undergoing some changes, and notably, Filthy Casual will be playing for Mirage.
Okay.
Tonight. Exactly.
That's actually really interesting. You know, I know Filthy Casual personally as a friend. I know he's a fantastic player, and he's got the drive to be one of the best here in the Montreal Overwatch League. And it's very satisfying to see that he's coming off of the disband from the University of Montreal team to continue playing in other teams, and especially with really efficient and well-practiced teams like the Ugandan tryhards. I'm trying not to say the name of the team, but I can't because they were actually fantastic at LAN ETS, and now he's gotten himself a contract with Mirage. So very interesting to see how Mirage will develop as a team. But that is our second game. First of all, we have team status Dusk and Esports ETS. And as we've said before, Esports ETS has been one of the staples of the Montreal Overwatch League across the seasons. And they have been very stable, and right now they are struggling. I believe they are 1-2 so far this season, and that's not exactly the record that they want right now. How do you think that will change their mindset coming into the game against Dusk?
Well, looking at ETS, they really look like a team who wants to win. Basically, over the weeks, we've seen them play so good, actually. Like they try as hard as they can, and we saw them, I think it was last week, playing against Mirage. No, it was two weeks ago, I think. And Mirage was trying to step over them and just completely roll over the team, and they actually ended up in a pretty hard spot. And I think ETS is coming on. Playing against Dusk today, they are bringing the big game.
All right.
Definitely.
I'm pretty happy about ETS still playing in the league and still, seeing success. 1-2 is nothing to scoff at, especially after 3 weeks. We don't know exactly where the season is going just yet, but we were comparing them to Concordia earlier, and I think it's a very interesting contrast where ETS is a team with great ideas, but not always the best mechanical skills to put them into motion, whereas Concordia is a team where every strategy seems to be quite simple, even though some of them are out there in the realm of the meta, and they try certain things, and they try to develop their game as much as possible. But Concordia is a team that focuses a lot more on actually making every strategy happen as a team cohesively.
Yeah.
So, interesting to see what's going to happen against Dusk. Dusk are 0-3 so far this season, so again, not exactly the success that they were hoping for, but it's certainly something that they're going to look at and probably try to fix. Now, we're going to go over our maps for the night. The first map is going to be Oasis, control point map, the classic here for the Montreal Overwatch League. And Volskaya Industries, our second map, an assault map, something we haven't seen so much of this season because not a lot of games have gone the distance with 3 games, and usually control 2 CP maps are the third choice. And tonight, the third choice will be obviously Watchpoint, Gibraltar, an escort payload map. What do you think about Volskaya Industries? I know this is a very interesting pick because this is the second map tonight, so every team is going to have to play on that one, and a lot of teams seem to be uncomfortable on 2 CP maps.
Actually, most of the teams hate assault maps. A few reasons. The second point is always so hard to actually capture because of the spawn being so close to the point, and you can just trickle onto the point basically indefinitely if the opposing team doesn't do an excellent job at actually capturing the point. And it just draws the game so long. The overtimes last forever, and most of the times it basically just comes down to just random things happening, like a random Junkrat grenade hitting a tracer coming out of the spawn, and then it just ends games like that. And I really feel like people don't actually like that type of map.
It's a very momentum-based map where pretty much every single explosion in terms of team fight can completely change the way that the game is going, and one of those changes is enough to completely swipe everything that a team has done to defend themselves. It's a very difficult map to play on, especially if you're on the defensive side, because it's not exactly rewarding playing defense on a 2 CP map because everything can be undone in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
So We're going to see that tonight. Volskaya Industries, probably one of the less volatile maps out there when it comes to assault maps. So I think most people are comfortable with it, especially because it's been around forever. It's one of the original maps for the game. So people are probably going to be happy to at least get to play and see what they can do on one assault map through the season. And we're going to see more of that, obviously, later on, especially as games will get tighter, teams develop their strategies. Right now, some teams are kind of just running away with wins, but later on in the season, that's when we're going to actually see teams struggle for wins, and every single time maybe we're going to get more 3 games in a full set. So we're going to quickly try to head into our game as soon as possible. Right now, Dusk probably on the cusp of something great here. We've seen them evolve with their team. We've seen them try different strategies, try to improve their individual play. How do you think this is going to go against ETS for them?
Well, Team Status Dusk has had a hard time starting the season. We saw them in the first match, their very first match in the league. They looked like basically a team who didn't communicate. They started out the match with a strategy, and then people started dying, switching heroes, coming back, and basically we saw them trickling all over, and it seemed like a hard time for them. That was their very first match. But then as the weeks went by, they actually seemed to be more comfortable with themselves. The team seems to have more cohesion, and they did have a really hard time so far with the teams they were facing. They faced the Grizzlies, Mirage, basically all of the best teams in the league. And now they're coming up against ETS, who's so far they're the middle of the road team. So I think Dusk could be looking at a win tonight if they work hard for it.
All right, this is kind of what we're hoping for every team. Not that we're hoping for a loss for ETS. I actually believe that ETS can definitely take this one. But Dusk, having played against the best teams in the league, probably have had many chances to learn from that and possibly evolve from it. Because sometimes it's very easy. Remember, the Grizzlies right now are dominating the league for very specific reasons, and it's very difficult for anyone to envision winning against a team like this, but they have been taken down in the past just this weekend at Plan ETS, and it does require quite a bit of cohesion and synergy within a team and quite a bit of talent, but it is not impossible. If you work hard enough at it, you can do that, and I think Team Dusk understand that they are not quite at this particular level. But if they can just slowly get there and improve with every single game and learn from their opponents, there is nothing that any of the teams right now in this league cannot do. And that's very important to keep in mind as we head into our first map of the night, Oasis. This is going to be one huge tussle, one big kerfuffle for both teams, I think, because ETS... I mean, we've seen them evolve on control points like this, but I think Dusk, because of the nature of the map itself, I think they can definitely take something here and run away with a one-game win, one map win before they head into the second map, and maybe get the momentum that they need to get their first win of the season.
Definitely. If ETS is not well prepared, and maybe they're underestimating Team Dusk, it could be a quick win for Team Status here, considering, as you said, the nature of the control points, the kind of momentum-based, and the actual surprise that they can bring to the table.
All right, so we're going to head into our first game of the night, our first map for this game, Oasis, with ETS Phenis, ETS Esports, if you will, and Team Status Dusk. On the blue side for ETS Phenis, we have Little Marion, Pave, Jay, Zalty, Binky, and Gav X. And on the side of Team Status Dusk, we have Moneymaker, Elenia, Aomini, DDNP, Nazgul, and Pylon. Here we go for our first game of the night. ETS Phenis versus Team Status Dusk on Oasis. Pylon now immediately trying to go for the flank. He's waiting for something here, waiting for ETS to come out of their hiding spot. They are going to capture their high ground as soon as possible. Team Status Dusk immediately going for the contest here. Not working too well in their favor. Binky going to take out that one. I do not know if you guys at home have lost the signal, but we have here right now. We're going to fix that in a moment. Do not worry. All right, we got it back. We are back in this game. ETS Phenis versus Team Status Dusk. Okay, DDNP going for the grenade, helping Pylon and Mini getting both of their eliminations right now. Phoenix has to walk back. They have to keep their distance against Status Dusk so far, and they do get the first control point at 15% and climbing.
Just as we mentioned in the beginning, Team Status Dusk seems to have taken ETS by surprise. We missed most of the team fight, but just looking at the ultimate status at the moment, Team Status Dusk definitely ahead right now.
All right, Mini going for something here. Nice, uses his ultimate in order to get Jay. That's going to be one elimination with that, and so much of the trades are going for Dusk in this fight right now. Nazgul popping up the Dragon Blade. He's going to chase around a tiny bit, but Zalti prefers to take his fate in his own hands, and it doesn't matter much. ETS Phoenix will still have to wait for any opportunity to take that point. 52% and climbing now for Dusk. So far, so good for Team Status Dusk. They are working on a first-round win. ETS Phoenix probably have a couple more tricks up their pocket. Let's see, they're going on the point right now, trying. Though Marion gets grenaded, not exactly the best way to start a team fight. Jay has to expend the ultimate, and Elinia really working in that corner. Pylon takes out Binky. Zalti's neck is gone, and whoop, just like that, Gavix can't really make his ultimate work. He did get DDNP, but didn't really matter. ETS Phoenix is wiped out, and 85%. That will be a very difficult point to contest right now for ETS.
Again, looking at the ultimate status, Status Dusk seems to not only accumulate their ultimates very quickly, but they seem to be using them in a more efficient way.
Alright, it's trying to contest that point in overtime, 99%. They are in overtime, Zalti. Trying to make something happen here with the Baby Diva. Nothing much going on right now. He is still alive, though, and he does have the mech once more. We'll use that. Try to contest some more. DDNP trying very hard with that sleep dart. Will not pick up anything. And Pave really doing quite well with the Kamehameha right now, turning the tide of this map maybe in favor of ETS. And that will be the first capture for ETS Phoenix on that round. Pave trying to survive against the opposition. Moira seems to be quite a popular pick since the downfall of Mercy, and I think the teams are getting used to their compositions with Moira. I don't know what you think about this, but Moira seems to be dominating the meta as much as Mercy was before.
These orbs are so obnoxious. Like, if you're a Tracer, you only have 150 health. You're coming into a corridor, and then you see that stupid orb coming at you. It's so freaking hard to actually do something about that orb. But
if you have a low mobility champion, it's so difficult to get out of there in those corners. You do not want to get caught off guard by that orb. It will take a big chunk of your life and probably make you suffer for it. Binky trying a couple of shots here, defending the position for ETS Phoenix. They have won the previous team fight. Now are looking for something, and beautiful. Mini uses his own ultimate to counter Binky's, and that's going to work, but not enough to make the fight last very long. ETS Phoenix dominating that one, and Pave will find a couple of eliminations right now. Team Status Dusk suffering probably from the same ailments that ETS were suffering from a couple minutes earlier. They cannot get on that point as a unit, and that seems to be very difficult to contest against ETS Phoenix, as Lil Marion really acts like an anchor for his team.
Definitely the big difference they had before was Status Dusk actually got on the point first, and it's actually so hard. And we actually see the change on Status Dusk. They switched their Winston for a Reinhardt, so they're basically answering the anchor with one on their own.
All right, Linea going to try out that composition, going to try to make something happen here, and so far so good for Team Status Dusk. Trades are coming in their favor. Nazgul doing quite a bit of work, eliminating a couple of characters for the opposition, and Zalti will not have his mech because of him. ETS Phenis struggling to keep themselves in the game as Team Status Dusk have captured the point. The overtime is called. Still trying to deny something here. Little Marion getting eliminated. That's not very good. Only one remaining player on the side of the ETS team. Zalti gets on the point right away. That's very important for him to survive here. Baby Diva is still going to be on the point contesting. They are trickling. And of course, immediately as Zalti goes down, Team Status Dusk finally gets something on the board. And they have a one-round lead over ETS. This is good. This is exactly what we were talking about. The nature of the control point map makes it very important to just work their way into a team fight and get the domination going as early as possible. That's what they did. They got to 99% very early. Then really the comeback was on for ETS, but something happened in that last team fight. It just made Team Dusk really get going and win that one.
What I noticed at the very beginning, Team Dusk were running 3 DPS. Tracer, they were going with the Tracer, Genji, and McCree, and for their healers they actually had Moira and Ana. So they had the highest healing potential, and at the same time they had the highest damage potential compared to what ETS was running. They were running very low DPS comp, which found it really hard to go through all of that healing while dealing with all that damage Status Dusk was providing.
Probably very difficult to deal with if you're ETS Phenis right now. A heartbreaking loss, but they still have to keep that momentum. Remember, they were the ones to get 99% last in this one. Probably feeling the heat right now. ETS Phenis are going to come onto this point like thunder, and Status Dusk are going to weather the storm, or at least they're going to try, as ETS Phenis is doing quite well right now, as Gavex using the Pharah to get a couple of rockets in. Goes for DDNP. That works out for him. 2 eliminations so far on the side of ETS Phenis. They are winning that team fight, that initial team fight so far. You don't want to get cornered against the Genji right now, and obviously you're going to get to the air if you're playing Pharah. Trying something here, getting as much of the space control as possible. They are capping the point. ETS Phenis are doing quite well for themselves right now, and they have captured this point. Initial capture goes to ETS. Status is going to have to get back on their feet and immediately counter the offensive from ETS Phenis. Really good work on the side of Gavex, but also Binky harassing that team as much as possible, using the high ground, trying to get the shots in on the rocket right now. Just catching a couple of people off guard. Really taking down and just grinding on that Diva. You do not want to be in Pylon's spot right now. Is getting shredded by the ultimate. Binky doing so much work right now, and Pape with his own ultimate. Really working well on the side of ETS Phenis. So far, so good for them. 38%, 40% now, and going. Seem to have as much control as possible for this game.
The position in which Binky was right now, he was completely on the opposite side of his team, and he waited patiently for the Diva to come down. No more defense matrix for Status Dusk, and then the tactical visor was completely uncontested.
Pretty good. Binky getting off the high ground, doesn't want to lose his life, and Pylon with the 2-man ultimate on the side of his Diva, and that's going to open up the crack in the armor for ETS Phenis. An opportunity here for Dusk that they are going to capitalize on. Moneymaker takes out Binky. Mini gonna try to make everything else work, and that's a dead monkey. Little Marion cannot survive that one, and the kill feed so far on the side of Team Status Dusk, that's all red. And Nazgul will try to deflect a couple of those rockets. At 84%, they are not exactly as comfortable as they should have been initially, but Dusk will take that capture point and try to run away with it to maybe win their first map of the night.
If they are patient and they wait for the right opportunity, they should have no problem retaking that point. The one problem they could encounter right now is just feeling stressed out and trying to go on the point as much as possible. They have to be patient.
All right. Jay and Zalti both get on the board. Gavix being resurrected by Jay. Moneymaker doing so much work with that Moira. Zalti completely gone. Melted by the Moira. Ooh, and that Kamehameha won't last long. Look at Gavix and his ultimate. Proper usage of the barrage right there, and they are going to take back control of this point as Dusk can only get 53%, but they do have one more team fight to go.
They have to go on fast though.
Yeah.
Only 9% left.
Not exactly trickling on the point, but they have to go as soon as possible. And yes, they are contesting the point finally. They do have the elimination on Binky down, and Elinia, sorry, is doing pretty well. Nice. Nazgul will pick up Pave, and that's so important. We've seen time and time again Moira ruining team fights with that Kamehameha, using the Dragon Blade efficiently just before falling to Zalti. Moneymaker still proving to be a problem against Jay. No more mercy on the playing field. Marion trying to connect against the Moira of the opposition, 99%. They are trickling on the point now. The roles are reversed. Team status Dusk will lose this one as ETS Phenis can defend their point. It just took half a second. Elinia wasn't on the point and just was about half a second late on that one. And ETS tied things up.
That is one thing that's really annoying about the game. Like, you always feel like you actually did manage to get your toe on that point, and yet the game decides that no, you were actually too late, and it's too bad.
Sometimes it's just a matter of frames, milliseconds. Something just happens, and you were just an instant late, and everything falls apart. And Team Status Dusk is working quite well so far. They are proving to be the correct match for ETS in this map, but they have been a bit lackluster in that previous point. Let's see if they can correct their path right now on this last round of Oasis. Team fight is happening right now. A lot of people falling into that hole. Don't exactly want to be stuck in there against a monkey or a roadhog, but hey, if you can get Nazgul like this, Jay, you're doing quite well. Moneymaker and Mini are dominating the upstairs. Coming back right now, but a lot of both teams have been decimated. Jay gonna get completely erased by Mini after that stun grenade just happened to fall straight to his feet. What an unlucky situation right now.
The decision that ETS actually took to split their team, send half of them down the hole to follow the status Dusk.
Okay, Mini using the ultimate. It is indeed high noon, and getting Zalti in the process of that. His grenades have been pretty much on point. That one just missed just because I said that, just making me lie like this. Don't make me a liar, Mini. He's doing so well. The headshots coming in on every single member of ETS Phenis, and they are having quite a rough time defending against Dusk. 43%. Goodness, look at those beautiful peaks. He's just doing everything he can to push back the ETS offensive. He's going to do quite well. Pylon is going to go for the flank right now. Going to try to harass those pesky supports. Try to get that Moira, but don't die in the process. Pylon really going low right now. Going to use the Kamehameha to finish the job on that Tracer. And look at that kill feed. All blue. ETS Phenis doing so well, taking back control of this map. 67% for status Dusk before the point changes hands. ETS Phenis capitalizing on the mistakes of Dusk. Maybe going a bit too far with that Tracer. Pylon probably regretting that move. Same for Mini. Trying to get for cheeky flanks. Not working out as well as they probably intended that to work.
That team fight actually went down as soon as Elinia seemed to have fallen out of the map, or something, whatever happened. But once the Reinhardt was gone, Status Dusk had to fall back at some point, and they were actually cut by ETS.
When you don't have your anchor, it is so much more complicated to make anything work in this game, and especially if you're counting on Little Marion to carry this team or Elinia to carry this team to victory. Reinhardt is just such a perfect pick for maps like this, but if you don't have it, it's very difficult to do anything right now. Is Elinia getting shredded by Binky? They don't even know he's there, it seems. They're not even caring about him, and he just has free reign to use his ultimate to just shred every single person on the map. And hey, Mini with the two-man ultimate, and Gavix gets completely obliterated before he can do anything with a spin to win. Nothing matters anymore. Team Status Dusk getting back control of this one, as ETS Phenis had just tied this game up in terms of percentage, and now Dusk running away with it. They do have maybe 1-2 more opportunities if they don't make it last too long. I don't think so. It's just going to be one more team fight to decide if ETS Phenis can survive this map and just go on for just a little longer. Just a little longer, and yes! Little Marion completely shattering the defensive side. That's not exactly what you want to see if you are Elinia. Man, that ultimate completely wasted on his side. I said shattering on the side of Little Marion, but it was actually Elinia using the ultimate. Maybe my words getting a bit confused here and there, but Pave with the ultimate. Gonna heal this team back up. Use those orbs we were talking about right there. They are trying so very hard. The overtime has been called, and they are defending this point. They do have control of it. They are trying to cap, but Status Dusk really trying their best to contest this point. Not going to be enough. They do have a bit more time to go. So Dusk will try to get that one back, as ETS Phenis is really proving to be a worthy adversary tonight.
Losing Moneymaker right there basically just broke the attack on Status Dusk's side. They're gonna have to wait for his respawn, and time is ticking down for Status Dusk right now.
All right, Binky waiting in the corner right there. Good angle. He needs to fall back, though. He has the ultimate. He can do something with it. Let's see. Ooh, that is a lot of life gone on Binky, and the grenade coming in from Mini with a counter flank. He knew exactly where he had to go, and Binky is no more. That is one of the main DPS for ETS gone from the map, and Mini doing so well again with that high noon. Zalti trying to defend his team now. Gonna get 2 eliminations with that ultimate. Very well done right now. Little Marion falling in combat. That's not what you want to see. And now that they have regained control of the point, Team Status Dusk is gonna run away with the first map of the night against ETS Phenis. Woo!
The DPS on Status Dusk's side did so much work in that last fight. Just looking at the flank, both the Tracer and the McCree did at the same time, catching the soldier there. Definitely a sight to behold.
Fantastic usage of mobility on the side of Pylon. Like, he really understood where Binky was going for. He had been a very big problem, a thorn in Dusk's side for all of this map so far. And since the beginning of the third round, he was getting good shots in from the high ground, and he wasn't being contested. And now Pylon, probably getting a bit frustrated at that, understood exactly where he needed to go, and Mini decided, hey, I'm a counter flanker, I'm playing McCree. I can just take him on the fleeing side, trying to regroup with his team. Boom, little grenade, and he's done for. And now no more DPS on that, and ETS Phenis loses the game off of that.
And it actually put Aomine and Pylon in an excellent position where they were actually behind the tanks of ETS, and they were in a perfect position to land that high noon, and then the Tracer with the big damage on the backside of the tanks.
Pretty good.
It was such a good play.
All right, so we're not going to wait too long before heading into Volskaya Industries, which is our second map of the night. As you can see right now on your screen, the classic Overwatch map. I mean, it's been a very hot, contested map over the years, over the year and a half right now, almost 2 years. But seriously, assault maps have been the subject of debate for a long time right now, and I believe that with the recent changes, and I say recent, but they've been operated for a little while now. The fairly recent changes to how assault maps work do make them a little less explosive, a little less swingy, but they are still very defined by momentum and how teams can capture and how fast they can capture that first point.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I do feel like Volskaya is probably the least bad of the assault maps.
It's the best
of the
map.
worst. But yeah, I feel like it's the one map that's not as bad as the others. Probably the main reason being that the spawn at the second point is not actually that close to the point, where you actually have to run a little bit before you're actually defending. And then the choke point on the first point is actually maybe a little bit less defendable. So it feels like the map is actually less bad than the others.
It's a bit less swingy because of
Yeah.
the long walk time that you need to get to the point when you're on the offense. If you do lose that first team fight on the second point, it's kind of it becomes a bit more fair. But if you can take that momentum and run away with it, then it's so absolutely disgusting how fast these games can go. I mean, not to take away anything from the design of the map. Obviously, it was intended to be something, but it's not something that it's not something the players fully appreciate here. It's again hotly contested map, but still. I think we're going to see some interesting comps right now as ETS Phenis is going to try to tie things up against Team Status Dusk on Volskaya Industries. 1-0 so far for Dusk. They are going to start on the offensive side. Let's see what they can do
Dusk
right
is
now.
so fast on that point.
Man, they are aggressive. Just fully engaged in that fight. GavX eliminating Alinea, and that is a huge torn in ETS's composition. All right, Lil Marion doing really well so far, trying to protect his team as much as possible. He will fall in battle. GavX still doing so much damage. He already had a rip tire. Can we time this one? Is that a record or something? How fast can he build ultimate here? This is impressive. Nazgul really denying anything from ETS Phenis, and Team Status Dusk. They're going to go and take that first point, and immediately, look at Ileana, how fast he went on that one. Incredible. They have 7 minutes to get that second point. That is insane. Ileana immediately going in and protected with the Lucio barrier. He's going to try to make so much damage happen. Look at all those ultimates coming in from Dusk, and they completely take over that point. They already have 2 ticks. They're probably not going to be able to contest at all. Look at that beautiful, beautiful Earth Shatter from Alinea. Completely denies any kind of defensive options from ETS Phenis. And here you go. There you go. We were talking about how fast these games can go. They have 6 minutes and 30 seconds in the bank with 2 points. ETS Phenis, well, they're going to have to try.
It was... They went on the first point so fast, and then they basically just won the team fight, saving all of their ultimates, and then ETS actually had to use some of those the ultimates to try to defend that first point, and then basically Status Dust just had major ultimate economy going on to that second point. They didn't give them any time to actually set up any kind of defense. It was such an explosive game there for Status Dusk.
Incredible. That round probably lasted, what, 1 minute and 30 seconds tops? That must have been the fastest round in the history of the Montreal Overwatch League. I have never seen something like that happen. And look, we were just saying that this is the best of the worst. But this does not look like an anti-swing game. I mean, if ETS Phenis can repeat the process here, that's very good. Most likely what's going to happen right now is, because this map is so offensive-sided, we're probably going to see them get the 2-0, not the 2-0, but the tying. They're probably going to get the tie at 2-2. But the thing is, if they can't do it as fast as Dusk, they're going to have one hell of a problem when it comes to overtime. And that is how these maps are played. They are played in overtime. It will be a battle of attrition. At the end of the day, if they cannot make it past that second point, sure, it will look like a very fast map, but sometimes 2 CPs can last forever.
Oh yeah, if you just keep going back and forth, accumulating 2 points every time, then yeah, the game can last forever.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we're going to try to see this right now. The trade's coming in 1-1, but that does not favor the defensive side, at least not in this map, and Gavex is going to get the second trade, and from there, it's probably just a full-on takeover from ETS, just as we've seen in the past. And at this point, if I was Dusk, I'd understand I'd lost the fight, and I'd just try to defend the second point as much as possible. They don't want to give the ultimates to ETS Phenis at all in this situation. We saw what happened with Dusk. We don't want to repeat the process, and that's pretty much what they're doing. They're just abandoning the point, trying to deny a tiny bit, getting a bit of ultimate charge. And Alinea kept his ultimate, and that's a very good decision. Built it very fast. Same thing for Mini, but yep, he's going to get eliminated right now. So is Nazgul's mech completely gone. And look at those eliminations. And coming into that one, ooh, I think this is going to be a very easy point to take for ETS Phenis. Obliterated! Alinea, that was a magic trick. Binky completely evaporated a Reinhardt. Absolutely fantastic. Look at ETS. They are trying, but no, sorry, Dusk are trying to contest this one. It wasn't as fast as Dusk, but oh, they're still very much trying. They are contesting.
Yeah, they're still in this. They actually had the time to respawn and go back on the point, whereas ETS actually, in their defense, they died basically on the point. So Status Dusk had more time to cap the point, but still, ETS there did basically the same thing as Dusk tried. Actually, ETS tried to do the same thing that Dusk did, but they were actually not as fast going on to the actual second point, giving time to Status Dusk to actually respawn and organize some sort of defense.
Yeah, well, we're going to see the fruit of their labor right now. Can they get that third tick? And that's Lil Marion getting very low on that last one. And so far, so good for Team Status Does. They seem to be having a bit of a fun time controlling this point. And yeah, okay, Zalti does not care about the respawn timer. He just immediately dives into that river, knows what he needs to do, needs to regroup with his team. He has a great opportunity. Now, both of these ultimates are probably going to try to deny themselves. Nazgul and Zalti both have theirs. Lil Marion does have his ultimate too, so this is going to be interesting. Alinea, you saw him earlier, changed to Winston, trying to be efficient on getting back on that point as fast as possible. And that's exactly what you need in this situation. You need to trickle on that point and make the timer run down as long as you can. And Nazgul, wow, being aggressive on Gavex and just shatters him to oblivion. He wasn't on the point.
C9.
He abandoned the point for too long and made his team just lose focus for just a second. And 2-2 is the score, and we were talking about it. Now, we're going to see the score go up. And the point here in 2 CP maps is to get as high as possible in the shortest amount of time. Can Team Status Dusk repeat their exploits of the previous, well, we'll call it a round. But honestly, ETS Phenis did seem to have a lot more issues getting on that point than Dusk did in the initial first round. So let's see if they can capitalize on that. Just the timing of their attack seems to be absolutely oppressive.
I feel like the element of surprise is no longer in Team Status Dusk's advantage. ETS should be ready to see that hyper-aggressive lineup coming their way. I feel like they should be able to put up some sort of defense that might actually work this time.
Well. This is one of the first opportunities for us and the people at home to see how Team Status's sister team, Dusk, fares against a team that they can definitely take on. Because so far, as we've said, they've taken on pretty heavy hitters. So coming together to beat ETS would be a huge step for Dusk. But ETS does not want to give a single inch. And they are going to be on offense right now. As Status Dusk will try to repeat, or at least try to hold them off as long as possible, just as they did before. Jay getting 2 eliminations, and Gavex completely taking control of that first point. And immediately just dominating that first round. They're trying, contesting really hard. They don't have a tick quite yet, but that's going to be a thing of the past, as this fight is completely taken over by ETS Phenis. As expected, this first point incredibly difficult to contest and defend. And Volskaya Industries, we were talking about how like I'm still hung up on this, because you were saying earlier that this was the best of the worst, and I was saying that assault maps are usually very swingy. It is incredibly swingy right now.
It is. I mean, the only... It's basically the name of the game. Like, the assault maps are designed to be that way. Basically, you roll through the first point, try to get onto that second point as soon as possible. Don't give the other team any time to put up some sort of defense, and that's basically what they're doing right now.
Yeah, well, Assault is definitely the name of the game here. Zalti going to try to use his ultimate. He's going to do so. Gonna try to hide for a second. Only gets Moneymaker. Oh, also gets Nazgul's mech, and that's very important. Not a lot of defensive options right now for Status Dusk. Look at that kill feed. All blue, and that third tick is just coming up. They are contesting that point, but that's not going to last very long. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. Plenty of time to get that one. Little Marion activating the ultimate. Same for Gavex, and they are doing quite well. Still contesting, though. Maybe a bit of a pain right now. Goodness me. Mini is doing so much work for his team, getting that timer to just go as long as possible. Trickle down, my friends. Do it more. I mean, there's nothing much to say here. They're just killing the Status Dusk team members as soon as they get on that point. The goal for Status Dusk right now is just try to hold on as long as possible, and they are doing quite well at that game right now.
They have the characters that are the best at that exact game. They have the Mei, the Tracer, the Winston, and then they just keep coming back on that point.
I just want to point out, ETS Phenis, all of the players are on fire right now. All of the players on fire, and Team Status Dusk, I mean, okay, so they did give up 2 points right there, but honestly, any other team would have probably given up on that much earlier. And going to 2 minutes and 12 seconds is an exploit in and of itself. And of course, right now, Status Dusk has the job to get the 2 points, but as we've seen, it doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. And the players know it, and you can see it in the chat right now. So, Status Dusk's job is to get this win as fast as they can. And with Pylon on Zarya, that's something new. I don't think that was a part of their composition at first. But remember, Zarya, if she gets the 100% charge very fast, she can do so much damage. She is actually the most damaging tank in the game if you use her properly and you track your targets right. So this is very, very promising for Status Dusk as they head into this one. Let's see if Pylon can survive the onslaught of explosions and fire of ETS Phenis on the defensive side. We're going to see something pretty cool here, I think.
If they do basically the same strategy as they did in the first round, the Zarya should work fine. However, on ETS's side, they switched. I think they had a Junkrat previously. Now they're running the Reaper, which is much better at basically facing a meatball coming your way, which is what Status Dusk tried to do in the first round, and they kind of have they're kind of trying to do the same thing here, but they're going so fast again.
Yeah, a pretty good combo here. Reaper and 76. 76 just peeling the tanks a tiny bit, and Binky finishing the job with Reaper. That's going to look very good. Oop, Bunny Maker booping that man off the face of the earth, and he's going back into the fight, trying to heal his teammates. Look at that again. I mean, this is rinse and repeat right now. We're just seeing, or it feels like we're seeing just the track repeat itself. Is this on loop? Because we've seen this from Dusk. And it was exactly the same way. They got the same point, and now the very intelligent play from ETS Phenis is to not challenge Dusk on the entry. They just need to gather and make that point last as long as possible. They have 5 minutes and 45 seconds to get that one. No doubt in my mind that they will be capable of capturing it, but how long will it take? Will they keep their time advantage, which is probably the only thing that can make them win in this particular situation? Not going to get anything with that ultimate Nazgul, and immediately going to get eliminated right after. And Lil Marion is the victim of Alinea, but Team Status Dusk is not doing too well. ETS Phenis is defending quite well. They are actually winning this fight, and this is pretty much a first. I must say, the defensive team winning a team fight right now, it seems new.
It's the first time in the game.
It does feel like, yeah, this is the first time for this map, or at least as clean of a win for the defensive side. Obviously, there were a couple of wins here and there, but man, Status Dusk is probably not happy about that one. They are going to waste a lot of time. If they can take it with this one, could help them maintain their lead over ETS Phenis, or ETS is going to get that lead once again, and Mini going down is not the way you want to start this team fight. Pave doing so well. Look, the way this is going right now, ETS Phenis is holding their own very well, and maybe Status Dusk is in danger right now. If they can't find a way to get in on ETS, maybe 4-3 is going to be the final score.
It could be, definitely. However, 4 minutes is so much time. They have so much time to actually get that point, get that crack in the defense, and it's going to be really hard to defend. 4 minutes lasts forever in that game.
Especially on Volskaya, especially on 2CP maps. It's so insane. Ooh, that grenade not going anywhere, but they do get 2 eliminations on Phenis, as Moneymaker is the one to fall now. Just a parting gift, as Zalti's mech is his victim. Zalti gonna eliminate AO Mini as Baby Diva. Just remember that. Binky doing quite well, trying to stall the game, and this is exactly what they need right now. Oh, getting pinned out of nowhere! The RKO! What's happening now? Alinea just squashes Binky on that wall. Nazgul doing quite well right now. They are contesting. How long can this last? I mean, it did last quite a long time when Status Dusk was doing the same thing, and Binky getting 2 targets with 1 ultimate, and that's pretty much the dream for any Tracer player. And, oh yeah, you're not going to survive. Hello, everyone. We are back from the abyss. How was the black hole, Kishmo?
It was cold, it was dark, and it was scary.
Okay, so to explain the situation, what happened is we had to shut down the ice outside, melting and all of that. It was kind of a problem, but we are very sorry for the delay. The game has not been affected. The players have paused the game, so we will head back into things in just a moment. We were talking. We didn't even know something was like that was happening. We'd been talking for like 2 minutes, just in the air like that for nothing, because we love you and the show must go on. But yeah, we are going to be back into the game right then and there. I think Dusk had been kind of struggling to get that last point, and to recap what happened just a few minutes ago. They did get eventually that 4th point at 1 minute and 18 seconds, if I remember correctly, while ETS has 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And that's exactly where we are right now, as Team Status Dusk will try to, I believe, be on the offensive right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, Status Dusk will be on the offensive. They only have 1 minute and 18 to cap as much points as they can. And then ETS will have 2 minutes and 12 seconds to basically tie up, once again, if they can, the score of Status Dusk. So this is this could go again for a while, considering that if they all tie and then the clock goes down, it might end up in a draw.
Yeah, if both teams go into overtime at that point, it could be very long. But Team Status Dust, they've done a very fast 2 points in the first drive. Wow, they are already on there. But Zalti does deny DDNP the entry on the point, and now that's one support gone, and Pylon getting eliminated by Gavex. That could be the defense on the side of ETS. That could carry them to a tie here right now. 48 seconds left, and ETS are defending this first point very bravely. Gavex is doing so much for his team and eliminating Nazgul. That respawn timer will be the death of Team Status Dusk. I will say it right now, because beautiful pickup on that baby diva just as she was exiting the battle.
The courtyard.
Just getting out of the gate.
They're gonna have only one team fight with 10 seconds left. That's basically all they have in them.
Yeah, and if ETS can stop their onslaught, they are opening themselves up to a possible win here on this map. Obviously not over. Both teams have to go. Gavex getting eliminated by Pylon. That is exactly what they needed. Contesting the points still, but Little Marion needs to get out of there. Going back in with full health, and he has the ultimate. He can deny for a long time with that one unless he gets CC'd to death here. Let's see what's going to happen. Popping the ultimate, trying to contest as long as he can. Anything to keep them off that point, and Binky using his visor, and Nazgul. Okay, Nazgul contesting that one, still in overtime. And they are trying so very hard to keep the momentum going in the overtime. Ooh, getting back on that point. Just enough time, but that won't be enough. ETS Phenis finally denies the points for Team Status Dust. They do have to get points themselves, though, if they don't want this game to end in a draw.
We do have something to do if it does end up in a draw. We are going to go on a control point, single control point, just to determine. However, Status Dusk seems to be favored on control points, at least from what we saw in the previous game. So maybe ETS does not want to go back on a control point versus Status Dusk.
I mean, they've been doing quite well. Yeah, no, don't go back on a control point against Dusk. I suppose that is a good idea, but then again, they did win a round, and depending on the control point that will be chosen, it could favor ETS. Who knows? Oasis might be a map that they don't fully control. So, ETS does have the opportunity to win this map right here, right now. They have 2 minutes and 12 seconds to take that first point, and if past opportunities are anything to go by, they will do so. ETS has been very efficient on that first point, and I guess Team Status Dusk were also very efficient until that last attempt. But 1 minute and 18 seconds plus the stress factor plus the momentum lost from the pause there, probably going to affect them a tiny bit. Sadly, that is one of the realities of online gaming. You can't always control what happens with games, but ETS Phenis will definitely have a great opportunity here to end it all, or at least just this map. This one map that's been lasting for a little while now. Gavex going to try to get a couple of shots here with the rockets. They're going to try the aerial battle against the Mercy. Not enough here. They are.
He gets the air shot, though.
Yeah, they are denying, though. Gavex is going to take Nazgul out, but that's probably going to be a good enough deny from Team Status Dusk that Nazgul is going to get back on that point. He's going to get resurrected immediately. DDNP doing his work as Mercy. Very good so far. Moneymaker trying to maybe get a bit of a cheeky spot here. Good vantage point. Status Dusk are doing really well, and ETS Phenis are delaying a lot. They only need 1 point, granted. But this game could very much happen to be a draw, and we would have to go to a tiebreaker. Ooh!
Ooh.
Pylon's efficiency! Impressive!
This could be looking grim for ETS
He's trying to
if
get the
Status
shot.
Dusk actually manages to keep them around the point for long enough. It could actually deny that last team fight, forcing ETS to actually trickle on that point. But it seems like they ended up dying quite fast, so they are going to have time to organize a last team fight here.
Yeah, pretty good mobility on Pylon right now. He's getting the shots in. He's doing whatever he can to keep the enemy at bay. ETS Phenis will try that last team fight. Can they make it happen? Nazgul just retreating a tiny bit, trying to get behind that wall, surviving as long as possible. Pinky gets Mini with that ultimate, and that's one pick you don't want to get if you are on the side of Team Status Dust. They are getting into overtime. They do not have the tick quite yet. They only need 1 tick. They only need that single point. Pylon using the trap, trying to deny entry on the point. And nice shot! Pylon doing his team proud. Absolutely fantastic work with his Widowmaker so far. He's got a good shot and another one on Jay. That one took 2 shots, but very efficient play from the Widowmaker right now. Gonna use the ultimate to prevent anyone from getting on that point. And yeah, he knew that he needed to be there for the long run. And now we are at a draw game between ETS Phenis and Team Status Dusk on Volskaya Industries. Man, these 2 CP maps, how volatile was that for a simple draw? We are going to head into 1 control point round in order to break the tie. Whoever wins the round will win this map, and that is a fantastic opportunity for Team Status Dusk to finally maybe seal the deal here.
This could be the end of the game. However, if ETS does take the control point, we are going to go on that 3rd map, Watchpoint Gibraltar. That was such a close game, such an explosive game as well. I do have to point out the explosive attack of Team Dusk definitely took ETS by surprise on that first round. But then we saw how it ended up in that final round there, where they were actually ready to receive that aggressive attack with the with the pharmacy. Actually, they were much more poised to break that quick attack that Dusk provided, and it was all, I feel like it was all a matter of element of surprise, where they, in that first round, they were not ready, and it showed. And then for both teams, actually, like that, the second rounds took much more time. So they did gauge the enemy team. They were ready for their strategies. But yeah, let's see how control map goes.
I mean, it's pretty impressive to see how this one went, because obviously at the beginning of that game, at the beginning of that map, we had a lot of offensive pressure on both sides, and towards the end, maybe through fatigue, maybe through exhaustion, the defensive side started to get a bit more mileage out of every single fight. And that was the defining factor in that last one for Team Dusk. But also, remember, it was a 4-minute hold on that last point for ETS just before that, just to trickle down that timer to 1 minute and 18 seconds from 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So pretty impressive. That's more than 4 minutes, actually. That's 5 minutes and 15 seconds. That's practically insane. We are going to go on Lijiang Tower for the final point of this one, just in a couple of seconds. We have seen 1 control point map so far, and the winner of that one was Team Dusk. So entering that possibly last round, maybe they do have the advantage. But again, Lijiang Tower is a very different map than Oasis. Maybe ETS wasn't prepared for Oasis, and maybe they are for Lijiang.
I feel like it's really gonna depend if what map of Lijiang we get. If we get a map that favors Pharah, I would put my bet on ETS. Whereas if we get a map that's not as good for Pharah, maybe Status Dusk has a little bit more of a chance there.
That's possible. Although both Nazgul and Gavex have been doing quite well on that champion so far, I would probably still put a tiny bit of advantage on ETS for Gavex's play. He's been really stellar on that character so far. So we're gonna head into the map pretty soon again. Right now, actually. Right now. And
you're predicting
guys,
the future.
If ETS wins that one, I mean, if you're sitting here right now in the chat and you don't have any Valentine's Day plans, this is the perfect.
This is what you're doing for the whole night.
This is the perfect scenario because we are going to have a whole lot of Overwatch for you guys. ETS Phoenix do have to take that point, though. And if they cannot do that, Team Status Dusk will run away with a victory. A minute can make all the difference here. Team Status Dusk's composition with Alinea, DDNP, Nazgul, Moneymaker, Mini, Pylon. And on the side of ETS Phoenix, we reiterate. Little Marion, Pave, Binky, Gavex, Zalti, and Jay. 5 seconds until liftoff. ETS Phoenix versus Team Status does the tiebreaker. And possibly the last round of this whole game. Team Status Dusk are on the cusp of getting that one. They are on match point. But ETS Phoenix will try to deny them the opportunity to end it all right now. Try to tie their own record at 2-2. And Team Status Dusk trying to get their first win of the season. 3 seconds to go. Here we go. ETS Phoenix, Team Status Dusk. And they are both very hungry for a point. Moving fast on that one. ETS Phoenix will be the first one to arrive on there, take control of that high ground. The interior of this map. Tower is very difficult. Control center. Very difficult to control, actually. I'm going to reuse the word. I don't care. Very difficult to control against the Reinhardt, especially if you've been sitting on that point for a little while. Pave to try to heal his team as well as possible. Little Marion! Yo, that Flame Strike, super efficient. Going to hammer down with the charge against DDNP. And Little Marion is doing all kinds of good stuff for ETS Phoenix right now as they're just about to cap that point. Of course, they're going to do that. Team Status Dusk will have to work their way back on top of things. Percentages going up on the side of ETS. Pretty good showing for Little Marion. And he only has 85% ult after all of that.
Which is impressive. He had, what, a quad kill?
Yeah, 4 eliminations.
A double kill with the Fire Strike, and then he's not going to do as well in this fight, though.
Pretty impressive. On the other side, Alinea already has his ultimate. He's going to try to use it as much as possible. Little Marion expended his. Not a lot of impact there. Oops. Gavex going to waste his ultimate. Alinea, sorry. I keep messing that one up. But still, Team Status Dusk fighting towards a victory here. But Pave holding the ground for ETS Phoenix. Wow, okay. Well, you're not going to shoot on him. He's still going to drain that life as much as possible. Moneymaker not exactly noticing him too much, but Mini getting the last shot on Jay is going to get them the point. Finally, 6% and climbing. Team Status Dusk are going to try to keep that one all the way to the end. 52% for ETS Phoenix. That's the number right now on their side. Pylon going to try to find the right point of entry on that ETS team. Going to try to land that mine somewhere around there. Nazgul going to try to be cheeky with that ultimate. He's going to get Little Marion. And Jay on the other side is eliminated by Mini. Mini really suffering from Gavex's oppression right now, but still ETS Phenis not capable of finding the right team fight. They are going to back off. Team Status Dusk is doing quite well, taking back control of this game, and I keep saying the word control and control point, controlling the map, controlling the pace, controlling the momentum. That's exactly what they want right now.
And that is what they do, so...
Yeah, I mean, you gotta use the words that are appropriate. And Jay using his ultimate to protect his team. Alinea in a difficult spot right now, but the Kamehameha really used quite well by Pave. Not going to get anything off of it, though. That team fight, again, falls into the hands of Team Status Dusk. They are dominant on this 167% and climbing for them. Just about to win this game. Can ETS Phenis come back on this one? Use the X marks the spot here. Alinea probably just predicting the area that will affect the next Earth Shatter. Is that what he's doing? Is he trying to predict the future?
He might actually be doing it on purpose, like
possible.
Putting the X down and saying, "This is where I'm going to shatter."
Okay, big
Nothing else matters.
Getting Alinea like this with a hook that is so efficient. And Nazgul getting Gavex. All right, the challenge here from the Junkrats and Mini getting the work done, and the Discord Orb not getting be too friendly towards a Lil Marion. He's still going to eliminate Mini, and Moneymaker is the next one to fall. That's a good team fight for ETS Phenis so far, 66%. They have capped the point. And the Earth Shatter from Lil Marion is going to be a threat in that next team fight. But Team Status Dusk not saying no again. Alinea will have his Earth Shatter coming up. And Moneymaker pretty close to his own ultimate. Pave will also have his. Probably a lot of impact coming from that, especially if they can get a good Earth Shatter from Lil Marion.
The mix-up with the Earth Shatter and the Nano Boost could be a big problem here for Status Dusk. The Kamehameha comes out first.
Okay, well, both of the charges gonna cancel each other, and none of them fall in that fight. Lil Marion gonna challenge it. Oh, the beautiful block! He baited that one out like a pro. He does fall, though. Kind of a shame after such a good play. 99%. The overtime is in effect for Team Status Dusk. Team fight is going ETS Phenis's way. They are going to try to get up to that point. They have the overtime, but ETS Phenis is probably going to be able to hold that one off for a little longer. And ETS Phenis tie things up. Team Status Dusk is going to have to try to get things done in that third and final map. I mean, we were talking about games being a little less even than we expected at the beginning of the season, and maybe this is the start of things to come. Man, this game won't end, and that's just the best thing right now. That's the best possible scenario for both teams. Well, for both teams. Probably not for Dusk, I'm sorry.
For ETS, at
For
least.
ETS, it is the best scenario for ETS, for sure. What's interesting right now is that Dusk have been playing for a little while, and an hour and nearly 25 minutes now as I'm checking my watch. There is going to be the aspect of exhaustion, and as ETS is a more experienced team, maybe this is going to come into play for that last one. This is going to be an escort map.
Yeah, exactly. It could come down to if players have actually other plans tonight. I hope it does not come to that, but I saw earlier in the chat someone say that they were working tonight, so it could come down to that. But let's jump into that game as fast as possible so we don't have that problem.
As fast as possible. We are going on Watchpoint Gibraltar. Now, it seems like we're saying this a lot, but again, classic map for Overwatch. Probably the map for Overwatch. This is the Watchpoint Gibraltar. This is the Overwatch control center. If you don't know the lore, get to studying. I mean, come on.
You have a lot of reading to do. There's a bunch of comics, a bunch of posts on Reddit.
You gotta watch the little cutscenes, the videos on YouTube. They're quite good. They're quite good.
Oh yeah, the Overwatch shorts are definitely worth watching if you haven't done that yet.
It's pretty impressive that this game is so well produced. I mean, we can talk about Blizzard's production value for years, but Overwatch is a specifically well-designed game, and Watchpoint Gibraltar is probably one of the, if in my opinion, it's one of my favorite maps. But it's also a very stellar design, a very standard but stellar design in terms of what they wanted out of the game. And I think we're going to get a taste of it right now. And usually, teams on Watchpoint Gibraltar, or maps, sorry, games on Watchpoint Gibraltar, I'm getting mixed up in my words,
Yep.
but games on Watchpoint Gibraltar are usually decided by how a team can perform in very standard compositions, the very root of Overwatch. So, it is kind of fitting that after a 2CP map, we have Watchpoint Gibraltar to decide things.
Now, I don't know what the lore is about that cat, but he is very cute, though.
I was trying to ignore it, but I shouldn't. I should embrace the cat. Because I had a thought in my head, and I needed to finish it, and I ended up having to finish it in a bit of a... Oh, my God! Yes, my friend! All of the cats.
Now, did we ever mention that we have the best cameraman at work here?
Absolutely.
The Blizzard guys at the Overwatch League don't have nothing on our Yugo.
They got nothing on the boy. The cat man. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I love cats. I have a cat myself. I love animals, little cute little cats. But man, there's nothing as good as a good old Overwatch cat. I don't know what that means. All right, we're getting into this one. Watchpoint Gibraltar, ETS Phenis, and Team Status Dusk are going to decide things right here, right now on this one. Team Status Dusk going to start on the offensive side. First team fight, no casualties yet. Jay is going to try to pick something up. The precision with the Zenyatta. Hasn't been using that character too much tonight. Gavex! Gonna get Pylon and Binky, not Blesna, that's an old name. Goodness. Oh my goodness. We're not tired, guys, at all.
No, it's been a very short game.
Very, very short game. Zalti and the rest of ETS Phenis is gonna win that team fight pretty efficiently. I think the point here is to end things pretty quickly on the side of ETS. They are hungry for a win, and that's not because it's Valentine's Day, guys.
Why would you be hungry for a win on Valentine's Day?
Maybe you just want to, I mean, it's getting a bit late. And maybe you just, you have
someone...
a plan later on or something like that. I don't know.
You might want to brag about a win to your date, which could be or not effective.
I mean, if you had a date at a restaurant tonight, these guys probably missed that.
I hope
not
they didn't. Not
exactly the best way to start Valentine's evening. Binky gets right now, left and right. He's doing quite well with the ultimate he used prior to that, and he already has 44% charge now. I mean, what an efficient player he's been in this map.
Oh yeah, he's had perfect ultimates. He's had such aggressive flanking positions as well, and he managed to find a way to not get punished as much by Status Dusk for some reason.
Yeah, and I think we saw shadows of that in the first Oasis map. Right now, he's on tear. He's doing everything he can to keep his team from faltering, and right now it's working out. The defensive side of things on ETS, really stellar. Nothing to say about that one. Pave is all over the place trying to heal his teammates. This forward orb on the monkey, not going to be too good for Team Status Dusk, because he's got Pave to back him up. Can't capitalize on that. Gavex already has the Riptire, and I say already, but that's because he has one every 3 seconds. He's going to try to do it. Oh, very, very low. Was discorded for a second there. Probably was afraid of things to come.
There we go, Nano Blade.
Yeah, Nazgul, but he can only take the trade, though. DDNP and Moneymaker both go down, and Mini finally getting Gavex. That was a problem to solve. Jay falling to Mini again, and McCree being very efficient. Nazgul being a torn in ETS's side, and Binky just turning around, taking care of the problem.
Getting the tweezers out, getting that thorn out of your side.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You know these things. I don't exactly know the name of those, but like when you just lay in the grass in summer and just some plant just spiky, those little spikes like this. Stop me if I am rambling, please.
You are rambling, but it is quite funny.
It is entertaining, so that's fine. Just keep going. Just get me some type of exit here.
Oh, there we go.
And finally he goes down, Binky. But that's just after that. I mean, 2 eliminations on Zalti and Gavex. That's good. Nazgul gonna pick up the Widowmaker, gonna try to make something happen here. And Binky was resurrected by Pave. And of course, he's gonna get 2 eliminations off of the visor. Nazgul is still alive. He's still denying. But the overtime going to trickle down as he falls. And that's not a long way to go for ETS Phenis if they want to win this one. Team status Dusk. They went from a very good position in the first map to now on the cusp of losing this whole game. And that's not funny.
It is.
We say this and we laugh, but it's not funny, guys. We swear.
It's not that bad, actually. Like, it's not their life on the line there. It's only as bad as losing a game in the Montreal Overwatch League.
The president is saying that a game is not that bad. Well, I will not have any of this. I will stage a coup.
Overthrow me?
Overthrow the president. Not my president. I'm sorry.
It is actually true.
I
am not your president.
No. You are my president. Of course you're my president. You're more my president than other presidents. That's for sure.
Well, considering that our country does not have a president,
I'm
pretty sure it is true.
That's very real. That's a very good argument you got right there. We don't actually have a president, so of course you're more my president than other presidents. But, you know, you're maybe not more my president than, I don't know, the president of my student association.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe you are. Maybe I consider you to be more my president than that. Hey, look, that's democracy right there. Just gotta vote. Go vote, guys. All right, let's stop the rambling right now. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'll be completely honest. I don't know where I'm going with this. ETS
I
Phenis.
don't know where you're going either. So
ETS Phenis will have 4 minutes to get very close to their starting point. They don't even have to go to the first checkpoint. That's how good they were in that previous round, how efficient they were at defending that one. Let's see if Status Dusk can repeat the process. Moneymaker is going to go for Bastion, and Elinia going to go for Risa, getting cheeky a bit. And
double anchor with that Bastion is going to be quite difficult to deal with.
You know, we were talking about presidents, and maybe this is a bit of that. Protect my president. Okay. DDNP. Gonna get in the back line, try to heal his teammates back up with a grenade like this. Good stuff. Gavex trying to disrupt the team composition and the positioning for each member. Trying to get up Mini. Oh, getting stunned! What a beautiful stun grenade, and he's finally going down. But not at the cost of Mini's life. Zalti picks up that one, and Binky in danger here. Gonna try very, very hard to survive, and he's gonna do it. Very good, Elinia. Trying to protect his teammates in the back line. Nazgul did quite well with the Reinhardt on that switch.
Now here the ETS should go for the flank, and they have a quite easy flank if they go topside.
Well, you were talking about a flank, and that's one big flank right here. Oh boy. They do have the opportunity to go topside, and Binky probably heard you.
I hope he's not actually looking at the stream, because that would be a problem. Even though we do have a delay.
Yeah, we do have a 5-minute delay, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, guys. He can't hear us.
Oh, there we go. This could be a pick on the Orisa.
Very interesting. DDNP going to get Gavex, and that's one big pick for a support to get him. He's going to fall right there. Pave and Little Marion are going to both get eliminations. Pave on Money.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, on Moneymaker. That's pretty good.
Getting the pistol out.
Okay, Binky repeating the process here and just going to flank out, and they're going to get the win. ETS Phenis finally gets that one. 2-1 for them. What an extended win. A real battle of exhaustion, a battle of wills. And that came down to one map for sure, but that one seemed to be not so even, a bit one-sided for ETS. Maybe Team Status Dusk were just too tired, or maybe they just weren't prepared for Gibraltar. Maybe that's not what they expected out of the game, and I would understand them because after playing for so long on Volskaya, that's not exactly something you want to do. It is a heartbreaking loss on
definitely
a draw.
Yeah.
So very difficult to come back from that. But props to Team Status Dusk for fighting till the end. They are still 0-4. They don't have a win quite yet. But with the performance they've shown to us today, we can clearly see little hints of genius here and there. Very good team compositions, very good cohesion into team fights. And it really came down to a loss in overtime on Lijiang.
Yeah, definitely. It is. The last two matches were definitely determined by momentum. Team Status, Dusk had the momentum starting the game, and then their momentum kind of faded during Volskaya, and was completely broken down during the Lijiang draw map, and then it all went downhill after that. So,
all right, guys. So we are going to take a bit of a break. 5 minutes. Indulge us as we are in desperate need of water. Please, someone give us water. That was an oasis earlier. We could have taken that. But we are coming back in 5 minutes for the game between Mirage and Concordia. Don't go anywhere.